Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Jacob in Wisconsin, here to talk about the Packers' huge win over the New Orleans Saints, as it is officially a victory Tuesday following Monday Night Football. Just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates out there. Happy holidays to everyone else. Really appreciate everybody tuning in here on Christmas Eve, as we got a couple of days here, Jacob, where I'm going to be trying to hurt myself eating way too much food, man. I don't know if you do the same or not. But
yeah, I do, but I made a mistake. So you got to get the stomach stretched out before. You got to take a few days. You got to do the incremental extending of the stomach. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in a bad bind. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Yesterday, I didn't tell you guys, I don't know if anybody does this, maybe in the chat, throw down like your kind of unique holiday Christmas dish that most people don't do. My family, me and my mother, we always do barbecued baby back ribs. That's like our thing. Yep. And I was like a man, the typical man brain. I waited until about yesterday at 3 p.m. to be like, I should probably start shopping for Christmas. And, I went to the Aldi. They were sold out. Went to County Market. They were sold out. And then I had to brave like thousands of people at the Festival Foods that just opened up, which, by the way, shout out to Festival Foods, Wisconsin-based.
Sponsor the show.
But I found they had 3 slabs of ribs left. I only needed 2, so I got them.
Love it, dude. Love it. Yeah, we've got a tradition that we do here at Stuffed Peppers is what we do. So I'm going to like stuffed peppers or not, but yeah, it's just absolutely awesome, man.
Huge shots. I'm taking shots from Mrs. Green over here.
Cannibal sandwiches.
You know what those are, Clay? So Wisconsin, it's a big thing. You take raw burger, squish it into a bun, and you eat it. That's a Wisconsin thing.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. There's weirder things back home in Kentucky, I promise.
Usually they throw some onion and some lettuce or something like that on there too, but
nice. Yeah. All right, let's dive into the chat, man. I know it's already lit up here. Crossfire became a YouTube member. Appreciate you, buddy. So yeah, this game, it's amazing how last week everybody was impressed by the Saints because they almost won a game of Spencer Rattler at quarterback, right? And it's like, okay, maybe the Saints might have something. This week, we're not allowed to celebrate anything. We're not going to get too deep into those weeds, obviously. But everybody in the chat seems to be in a pretty good mood in here. Yeah, I must have my Twitter completely cleaned up now, Jacob, because I've seen people that I follow complaining about people in their comments complaining about the game. And, man, I'm going to continue to tote this line. You were 14-point favorites, right? You won by, what was the score, 34?
34? Yeah, that'll do.
I don't know what you're expecting. And again, I know I'm not talking to our listeners. I'm just saying pass the word along to those negative folks who are out there. But it sucks because you see people on Twitter trying to enjoy the win, and they're having to complain about, you know what I mean? I feel bad for them. It's like, golly, dude, like, why do we have to do this to ourselves? And I shouldn't even lead the show off like this. We should just move along quick.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, and it really is.
I'm starting to honestly think, and conspiracy Jacob here, I swear that there is a segment of those people that are shills. They're either Bears fans or they're bots or they're something. They just want to stir the drama. Personally, in my sphere of everything, all my friends, I'm ecstatic. All my family's ecstatic. That put just the absolute best blessing and put everybody in the best mood to get ready for this holiday season. I mean, we're going to touch on some of the historical things we did in that game. I mean, it's historical what we did in that game. So the fact that people may be hating, it sounds like they're just haters, like Mike Berry. Haters gonna hate is what Berry said.
That's exactly right. Ron Samuel says Evan Williams is out for a bit. Zane will get more chances. I mean, Jacob, bro, this is 2 weeks in a row that we went, damn, look at Zane. Zane can hold his own, man. We never understood why he was on the roster, right? We were always like, man, I don't know. This dude, is he a real person, right? Man, he showed up big time last night, dude. And almost had that second pick as well. But again, the way he picked that pass off, we kind of talked about it last night. I should have broke it down first today so we'd have it for the show. We'll definitely have it for Chalk Talk. Again, they were playing invert 2, it looks like, or at least it might have been like an invert 6 or a half invert 2 is what it was. And he was supposed to cover the curl flat. That's what you call looking for work. When you ain't got nothing threatening your zone, you go look for work. And that's been the big knock against Quay, here recently, is like he kind of just sits in his zone and doesn't really go looking. Man, Zane, for him to bust back across in front of the deep shell and make that pick was just wild, man. So, CJN, the Zane man is a real person for sure.
Did you see by chance Boz took a zoomed in shot of Zane on the sidelines? It must have been after the interception. He goes, "He's real for sure."
He's definitely real. I love it.
Also, Boz said on the plane ride back that he was on with one of our old Nick Perry, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the same plane, and he just thought it was hilarious. That was cool.
That is really cool. It seems like every time I fly up to Green Bay, I always see a large human being on the plane. I know that's a former player. It's got to be. Like, he's just way too big, right? So, Prince in the chat, Watson, quote, is a concern according to Tupac LaFleur. Yeah. And again, the latest update I seen, they built it up on Good Morning Football like they're going to unveil all this information. And then they just said, yeah, they're going to look at tests today. It's like, okay, thank you for the great insight there, sir. And thanks for teasing that for the last half hour. So we'll find out today, hopefully, just how serious it is. If he goes on the 4-week IR, we know it's serious. If he doesn't go on the IR, then it's probably going to be something like, maybe a 2 to 3 week injury. Now, it was, again, for anyone who's coming at him saying he's soft, he's made of glass, all that garbage. It's a freak play where the dude lands on his leg. Like, there's nothing else he can do to protect.
It was similar to the Tank Dell play where the guy's knee completely turned sideways. So we got to stop this stuff. His dad's on Twitter, and I know he's a little bit of
he goes at him, boy.
He goes at people. He can. I personally love the guy. I think that his takes, he's watching out for his son, and a lot of these quote unquote experts will start talking smack, and it's always hilarious because you can tell about halfway through the comments that they realize it's Christian's dad.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh, shh."
The Lions fan that said how uneducated the Packer fans are, and this dude's like, "Bro, I played in the league. What the hell are you talking about?"
Right.
So anyway, Nick McSwain, if you're not happy with that win, you will literally never be happy. Very well said, Nick, for sure, man. Dave in the chat, Toyota-thon time. Boy, yes, sir, it is. No doubt about that. Coach Lynn, we should have 3 safety sets on defense moving forward. It's not a bad idea, Coach. It really isn't. That's something that the Saints did a lot with Sean Payton, right? When they had, I think it was Greg Williams was their DC. They ran actually a dime package. So rather than a big nickel, they actually had 6 DBs on the field, 3 of which were safeties. And they would kind of stay in that dime. But you got to understand, too, and I know you know this, Coach, but just kind of thinking out loud, in the early 2010s, the spread was taken over. Everybody was spreading the offenses out, right? So now we got a lot more condensed sets with the Shanahan tree, the McVay tree kind of taking over the league. But, yeah, man, Zane is what's cool, we kind of looked at the contracts and stuff. We could have him back next year, too, man. How cool is that? So the safety room in one offseason, Jacob, we flipped it from a weakness to a strength. Really cool.
I'd argue, too, that in that same vein, the special teams seems like that they've just shored up very quickly. Everything from the gunners to the holder to the snapper, obviously McManus kicking. It just seems like this team is just forming and it's solidifying very, very impressively.
Yeah. Prince in the chat saw both Oladapo and Omar Brown getting some late snaps at safety. Yes, since we're talking safety, let's hit this real quick. Matt Schneidman tweeted this out. Said Xavier McKinney said in the past he had to, quote, scratch and claw for playoff chances with the Giants. From a locker nearby, Keyshawn Nixon yelled, "Welcome to the Packers." It's a standard here, man. I think our fans do kind of take it for granted. I know I've taken it for granted before. And it really, the goal is get in the dance and then try to be playing your best football as you enter the playoffs. We've been on that for a little while, Jacob. It was, we just need to get that top seed so we can control home field advantage, this and that. And then you lose that. And it's like, okay, maybe that doesn't matter quite as much. You want to see it. You want extra football at Lambeau. But the goal is just to get in, man. That's it. So, Let's see here. Professor Cake says, I wouldn't be surprised if they.
I think he meant to say sit there.
If they sit Watson for the last 2 games. I don't think it's a bad idea, Cakes. I really don't, man. That's probably the way I wouldn't expect them to play next week unless he's 100%, and I don't see him being 100% based off of what happened, kind of how – now, he did try to go back in, right, Jacob?
Yeah, he did. And he looked like on the sidelines for a minute that he was okay. And then they panned to him later, and it almost looked like a hammy maybe acted up or something because they were like stretching him out, it seemed like, on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm pretty hopeful. It didn't look just his body language and all that. And then also you can watch him. You see glimpses of him in the Matt LaFleur post-game locker room. And that's one other thing I wanted to touch on quick is that you saw how the team reacted to when LaFleur called out Zane Anderson for getting – like, that team loves the guy. He's one of those guys where it's like might be an underdog in their eyes or whatever the fact is. But I think that it's always a good indication to see how the team reacts to a certain player's success. And that team was 100% just jacked for that guy. So that makes me feel, one, again, verification, he is a human being that's real. He's not like that. Remember, did you ever see the fake birds conspiracy where the birds aren't real?
Yeah, I did see that.
And then you just see China just released bird drones that look exactly like I knew it. Here we go.
Boston Connor on the McAfee show is always talking about it, man. It's hilarious. Anyway, Josh Martin with the super chat. No team scares me in the NFC. NFC has hours to lose. Hey, it's hard for me to argue with that, Josh. I mean, obviously Detroit has beat us twice. Minnesota's beat us once, but man, these are different teams now. The Lions are even more banged up. The Vikings, it kind of feels like the Vikings are, although they keep winning, they're not really building momentum. They're probably sustaining momentum, right? They're kind of holding it. The Packers are on an upward trajectory. And it kind of feels like the Lions are still on that upward trajectory, even though they've had all the injuries. So we'll see, though, man. Again, just get in and you got a shot to win the whole thing. But I'm with you. I don't look at any NFC team like, oh, God, what will we do? Like the Eagles, it kind of goes without saying. You play them in week 1 in Brazil. Obviously, these teams are much different today than they were in week 1, but you took them down to a 1-score game too. So you got a shot. It just comes down to protecting the football, man. It really does. So thank you for the super chat, Josh. Appreciate you both. Let's see what else we had in here. CJN, Nick Perry was signing autographs when I was at Lambeau on Saturday, so he was in town for an autograph session probably. That's really cool. David Mitchell, Merry Christmas, PTA hosts and fans. Merry Christmas to you, David. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Hopefully you and your family have a great holiday season here. CL, Cox had 6 pressures last night. Pass rush has woken. Man, I'm telling you. And I counted 3 for Gary on the opening drive, I think it was. Or it was, because they got a first down on the opening drive. I think there was 3 pressures for Gary on that opening drive. We'll get that information to you guys and gals tomorrow as we look through NFL Pro and get the pressures. But, yeah, Brenton Cox Jr., man. Again, the thing that hit was a knock on him, Jacob. We talked about it all year last year, and I know we give you credit for, you're kind of the president of the Brenton Cox Jr. fan club. I know it doesn't have anything to do with the name either, but we talked about it last year. It's like he couldn't be disciplined in the run game. He would always get too far upfield. He seems to have toned that back a bit without losing that edge as far as having the ability to rush passer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it also seems like that maybe Hafley just understands what he is and how to use him. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't seem like that I was surprised at how much time he had this game. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like after timeouts, after commercial breaks, I'd see him out there and all right, Chad.
There it is. Told you.
I personally, I really did. I watched the highlight film of him in college, and he was kind of a one-trick pony where it was like just shoot off the edge and who cares? And the highlight reel was real good, but if you actually watch his full games, a lot was left there. Like you said, over pursuing, not setting the edge, just not doing what a well-rounded, especially in the NFL, what a well-rounded edge or DN, however you want to categorize him. But it seems like you said, dude, he is just, one, I think he's put on a considerable amount of weight. And 2, it just seems like he plays smarter. Yeah. And remember, there was the biggest concern with him was his off-field stuff, his personality, and the Packers have I haven't heard a peep about him having any sort of bad, anything negative about the guy whatsoever. So another testament to what Green Bay can do for players like that.
It's a great point. And I know the Terrell Owens soundbite, there ain't a damn thing to do in Green Bay. That's good for some people. It really is. So Nick McSwain in the chat, I'm happy for X and Josh Jacobs. They deserve to be on a good team in the playoffs. Amen to that, man. They're just 2 leaders of men, great human beings for sure. BTN Studios, good to see you, buddy. He says, hey, I'd like your take on that awesome reception by Reed. If you're talking about the climb route on the deep crosser from Jordan Love, to me, there was two is the reason I say this. That climb route, Jayden Reed from day one was so good at reading the ball in the air. Some receivers can't do that. I can't do that worth a damn. Like when I played baseball, reading a fly ball, oh my God, man, it was just like everything spaces out, this and that. You know, you lose it in the sky, you lose the depth perception, if you will. Man, some receivers can't read the ball. He can track the ball so well. And the thing he does well is he knows exactly where the ball is going to land from the time it leaves the quarterback's hand. And he can speed up, slow down, position his body, box out perfectly. To be a small guy, Reed is great at that. The corner route was a great catch, too, from Malik Willis, which was an absolute piece. He continues to impress the heck out of me. I'm so glad we've got him another year next year, man. It's awesome.
Yes.
So it's kind of an insurance policy, too. Like, Jordan's the guy. There's no doubt in my mind. When you see what he's doing statistically right now, it's insane. Like, he is legit a top 2 quarterback. Him and Josh Allen have separated themselves since week 10. And there's still people, hey, Jordan Love missing on that throw, missing on that. Okay, got you. But when you look at Malik Willis and what he's done, if for some reason it were to go south, you feel good about, all right, man, let's go to Willis here. Now, it's not going to happen because Jordan's going to continue to improve. I believe that with everything in me. And you threw that big contract at him. But you've got that there. Jacob, how many years did you watch Packer football? I'm sure you agree with me here. We watch Packers football, and it was always, if Aaron Rodgers goes down, the season is over, right? It felt like that every single year with your Brett Hundleys and your Deshaun Kaisers and these guys, right? It was like if 12 goes down, we're screwed. You don't have that feeling here, and I think that the Packers can kind of play a little looser knowing, hey, Malik can come in, and this offense shifts dramatically to, hey, you can go to read option, RPR play, all that good stuff. It's really, really cool, man. So.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that the NFL, and I guarantee you there's certain teams that are like, I don't want to play Malik Willis when they have that weird – they're doing like high school wishbones and crap. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to get that stuff on tape nowadays and really actually practice against it. And dude, it's a cool thing to have. And I remember back in the early 90s, we did have that plethora of backup quarterbacks. We had the Aaron Brooks, Mark Brunell, Matt Flynn. You know, we had guys like that. Detmer, I believe, was in there. A few other ones too that were worthwhile. But yeah, as of late, dude, pretty much through the Rodgers era, if he went down, it's not good. Me no likey, Jan.
Yeah, me no likey that. Jan Prince in the chat says ticky tack roughing the passer call on Cox. I thought he laid off pretty well. I completely agree, man. I did think it was a bad call. I'm sure you did too, Jacob, being the president of the Brenton Cox Jr. fan club there.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, let's see here. Biz in the chat. The bird thing is not a conspiracy. All right, here we go. Chat just got through. And then Professor Cake says owls are alien drones. All right, got it. Might make a note of that real quick. It's like everything else, man. Some people think everything is a conspiracy, and other people roll their eyes at the whole birds are drones. There are bird drones. It's proven. Now, people like Boston Connor making it sound as if they're everywhere watching us. Our every move is just crazy. So anyway, let's don't go down that rabbit hole, Jacob. I wish you'd stop marking those chats because you know
Sorry.
Professor Cakes. They need to get Jayden Reed 200 more receiving yards so he can hit 1,000 for the season. Is that all he needs is just 200?
I think
so. We got 2 games. Right. That's going to be tough, man. That's going to be tough. But somebody had a stat too about being. Is he the only receiver to have back-to-back? Was it 900 yards in his first 2 seasons or something like that? There was some kind of stat. So Jayden Reed. Oh, I know some people would look at it like he hasn't taken the step they wanted him to this year. If you look historically and kind of go off a precedent, like he is on track to be a damn good wide receiver, like top 3, top 5 slot receiver in the league if he continues with this trajectory for sure. All right, Donovan Schilling. Also, Matt LaFleur listens to the pod. Verified. He was sweeping. What was it? He was sweeping to death last night out of spot to Clayton. What's he talking about there?
Running sweeps, just running the end arounds and yeah.
And again, guys, I don't dislike the sweep. I love it. Like it's such a huge part of his offense. I don't like the jet sweeps inside the 5-yard line. It's like, what are we? Did you see the cute little shovel pass they try to do to Dante?
Yes. Oh, dude, that cost my boy Tony a chance at $100,000. Give Josh Jacobs the ball. He lost by 2 points.
And again, we're not complaining. I'm just simply saying when it comes to the jet sweeps, that's my knock on it. Is like, don't get cute when you don't have to. Right. You know, when you're running the ball down the defense's throat. Now, let me give you a perfect example of how they used it. Great. Last night, you could see the Saints loading the box. So we just started breaking out jet sweep, jet sweep, jet sweep. Last week against Seattle, same thing. They load the box. They start to kind of shut down Josh Jacobs in the run game. And what did we do to combat it? Jet sweeps and then dinking and dunking underneath the Josh Jacobs to get the ball in his hand in some space. That's how you use the jet sweep. Inside the 5, when your running back's averaging 6 yards a pop, what the hell are we doing? Let's stay away from it. The shovel pass, let's don't. Come on. I know the Chiefs do it and it makes it popular, but that's my only knock there, man. And listen, it's going to work. Eventually, you're going to hit on those inside the 5. You're going to hit on those jet sweeps and everything, and that's great and all. It doesn't change my opinion on it. If you've got a 1st and goal from the 4-yard line and you can't punch this thing in, and your answer is let's run 35 yards horizontally to try to get the ball in the end zone, I'm sorry, man. I'm as Ricky Bobby said, I'm too drunk to taste that chicken. I just can't get on board with that. Can't do it. So Donovan, though, over here putting a quarter in me. I love it, man. Absolutely awesome. Let's see here. We already hit on the Reeb one. Prince in the chat. Honey Badger also made a business decision on a Kraft reception, just stopped in his tracks. LOL.
Did you see that?
Yeah, he looks like he's done, doesn't he? He looks like he's just not interested.
He also was the victim of that brutal Josh Jacobs stiff arm that sent him into the shadow realm.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. All right, moving along on Twitter here. Everybody just keep the chat lit up. Jacob will continue marking them, and we'll keep you guys involved. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your Christmas Eve festivities here as the Packers get a huge win and seal their playoff berth. As you can see here, Adam Schefter tweeted out, this is the 5th time in 6 seasons that the Packers have locked up a playoff spot under head coach Matt LaFleur. So obviously we clinched the playoff berth there, man. Again, I don't understand the Matt LaFleur criticism. You heard me just now criticize the play calling inside the 5 with the jet sweeps way back in the past. But at the end of the day, there's some people on Twitter like, can we not play a complete game? What does a complete game look like? I need to know, because there's not a head coach in the league that has 2 brain cells to rub together that's going to empty their bag. They're going to empty their clip, right? On when you're winning by 25 points, 30 points, whatever it is. That is absolutely stupid. That's what drunken people say we need to do. Like, there's 2 different aspects of that. One, you're putting stuff on tape. You're putting things on tape for other teams to see on down the road, right? So the more vanilla you can be and get out of there with a dub is the most important thing you can do. And that's the other thing, too, with the jet sweeps. We called so many yesterday. Watch what happens the next couple of weeks, Jacob. You're going to see teams key in on that jet sweep, and we're going to see that pony package counter run that they started to do, right? Yeah. So you're going to really start to key in on faking the jet sweeps now, going with the T run and also the play action off of it. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming like a freight train. So let's see here. Ron Samble in the chat. I'm actually a little nervous if Watson is out. Our offense looks way different without him. He draws a lot of attention. It's a very good point, Ron. It is. But again, when you look at the offense and how Matt LaFleur's scheming guys open, like, for example, Tucker Kraft, I think it was on a 4th down, a 4th and 2, if I remember correctly, got 21 yards on that shallow cross. If you go back and watch the play, we'll hit it here in a minute, actually. Tweeted it out. I woke up at the butt crack of dawn breaking down tape, and I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep, but I couldn't sleep. So he had Christian Watson wide open for a touchdown, and he still hit Kraft for a 21-yard gain. So you literally had a total of like 60 yards to gain there. That was wide open that Matt LaFleur schemed up, right? And again, Christian Watson getting behind the defense, that you put that on tape, defenses are going to try to bracket that a little bit. But I'm really not too concerned about it, Ron. It just means you got to play the spacing game a little bit more as opposed to the vertical stretch, right? So I understand the concern, but I wouldn't worry too much about it, man. Anthony in the chat, I was very impressed with the O-line play once again. They definitely controlled the line of scrimmage. And just to let you guys know, we got a poll question up here in the chat. Who is your PTA offensive player of the week 16? the options are Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, the offensive line, and Josh Jacobs. Right now, the offensive line is leading 49% of the votes. Josh Jacobs at 33%, Tucker Kraft at 16%, and Jaden Reed at 2%. So I figure we throw the O-line in. Jacob, man, they look like they really control the line of scrimmage, like Anthony said here.
It really did, man. And I think that might be maybe the most underrated thing that we're sleeping on as Packer fans. You remember going into this, I'm pretty sure that almost everybody on this podcast agreed that maybe the cornerback room and that the offensive line would be our biggest glaring problems going into the season. And I would argue that both of those position groups has absolutely outperformed my wildest dreams. I mean, realistically, when I actually take a step back, I mean, I know Timmy loves, we're going 16-0 every year. We're going to score 1 million points.
Right,
but if I'm really being honest, I did not expect the offensive line to be as cohesive. I actually saw a stat. I wrote it down last night. We have only had one offensive lineman not start one game. Other than that, 5 out of 5 have started every single game. It was Josh Myers who missed one game. And this, boom, perfect. Thank you. This clip here, I'll let you read that off because it's historical.
It is. All right. So here is what OptaStats tweeted out. Shout out to them at OptaStats. Said the Packers Monday night performance, 30-plus point shutout, 400-plus yards while allowing under 200 yards, 0 turnovers, 0 fumbles, 0 sacks taken, 0 missed kicks. No other team, I'm going to repeat, no other team in NFL history has done all of that in the same game. Like, you understand, we've been playing professional football. I think these stats would go back to 1921. Pretty sure that's when the NFL officially launched, although professional football kind of predates it by a couple of years. Since you're talking about over 100 years of a game being played, and no one else in the history of the game has ever done this. And there are people who are mad at Matt LaFleur. Like this is the confirmation we needed, Jacob, that we just need to start ignoring those people. We got to ignore them.
Yeah, you just block those people out of your life. If this isn't the definition of a complete game, what is? It's historically the best performance that an offense has had in 100 years. Come on, people. Just be happy. Choose love.
Choose love. And listen, it happened on a national stage, Monday Night Football. Everyone got to see it. Like, this could not have worked out any better for the Packers. There is zero reason to not celebrate this win.
Yep.
And how many teams do we have to boat race where people continue to make excuses? Well, they've got this and they've got that. Are we going to mention that we were without Jair Alexander, our best cornerback, our highest paid corner? Are we going to mention that we were without our number one linebacker? Are we going to mention those things? Or are we just going to gloss over that? Right? Like, it's just, again, everybody's banged up for sure. But yeah, that's a wild stat, man. Let's see here. CJN says no comments about our draft crush, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Josh Jacobs made him look bad a few times. Josh Jacobs makes every cornerback look bad. I mean, he looked at Jalen Johnson, the highest graded corner. I think it was last year or the year before, according to PFF. He gets the sideline on him earlier in the year against Chicago and goes, "Hey, you come here. I need you right here," and runs over his ass. So he makes all the cornerbacks look bad. But so as far as our draft board, we had Quinyon Mitchell 1, Kool-Aid McKinstry 2, Nate Wiggins 3, Terrion Arnold 4, Cooper DeJean 5, 5, and then Enos Rakestraw Jr. 6. That was our top 6 corners. Now, Nate Wiggins, Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean, and Enos Rakestraw Jr. were all grouped together. So I want to say we hit on two of those top 6 at least, and the others, obviously, you can't just look at a half a season or even a full rookie season and go, yep, they're a bust. Because some players, it takes 2 or 3 years to really kind of turn it on, obviously. But yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry did not look comfortable out there last night playing this team, that's for sure. Ron, go ahead, Jacob.
No, I was just going to real quick, if I could throw this up while we're on the topic. It was Coach Len. They're not going to mention the fact that we were missing our 2 starting safeties as well in this historic game. It's crazy.
Again, you're missing your starting slot defender in Javon Bullard, who is also your number 2 safety. So and Evan Williams, right, is out of this game as well. So really, Coach, when you think about it, there's 2 positions affected right there because we're in our nickel the majority of the time. So And you go, well, Keyshawn played the slot, and he's a stud. Okay, I got you. Well, look at the backup who's got to come in on the outside now. So you're actually playing the outside cornerback position with your number 3 and number 4 outside cornerback.
Yeah.
Like, again, it just blows my mind that people, they take that angle. Like, oh, well, you keep lucking up and playing teams that are banged up. Everybody is banged up. Ron said, well, it's okay to criticize individual calls and still think he's the best coach in the league. Amen to that, buddy. Amen. Joseph in the chat, blessings to this entire PTA community on this Christmas Eve. Jesus loves you. Go, Pack, go. Hey, very well said, Joseph. Merry Christmas to you and yours, buddy. Prince in the chat. Nixon had a really good game. He did the strip sack. Jacob, man, he's as good as anyone blitzing the quarterback at the nickel position for sure. And I love how we toned it back with Bullard. And then the second that Keyshawn's back in the slot, it's like, okay, let's start firing that nickel again. Really cool.
Did you see him interview as well? Apparently, Hafley called him on a blitz earlier in the game, but it got called dead because of either a pre-snap penalty or something like that. And apparently, Keyshawn went to the sidelines. He's like, do it again, please. And he's like, all right. And then he got to him the next time. Dude, he is a dog, man. Everybody has, I personally have been hard on Keyshawn in the past, but when the guy plays and he's on, he's on. And he, started out the gate, got us about a 40-yard return, starts us off hot, had a couple shutdown plays at corner, and you can't argue that the guy, he seems like a spark plug. He's out there jawing with guys. I know that he gets in their heads too. So I'm excited, really excited.
That's what Schilling said. Anyone still hating on Nixon, asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Again, man, and he hasn't been perfect. No one said he's perfect, right, Donovan? But like the folks that think he's like a liability, man, this guy, he played better on the outside. And we have to kick him back inside because of injuries, and all of a sudden he gets strip sacks. It's just, I don't know, man. He is getting more and more comfortable with Hafley. And the thing that I think impresses me the most with Keyshawn Nixon, as you heard it a few weeks ago, like when he ran across the field and punched that ball out on that hustle play several weeks ago, he was the first one in the locker room. Was like, man, it's forever since I made a play. Like one's going to criticize him more than he's going to criticize himself. So. Really, really cool in that regard. Donovan Schilling, yes. So we completely agree with you there, Donovan. Now we got Tim joining us right here.
Tim.
Good morning.
Tim,
was hoping.
I think Mrs. Green in the chat earlier, I just knew she was messaging us with one hand and smacking you with a pillow going, get up, get up, get up.
She's been up for like 3 hours and
man.
already out the door. And morning, guys. Victory Tuesday. Let's go.
There you go. You seem fired up for it, too. I love it. I rode over this morning, man, and Etta was snuggled up so good, my chef. I mean, she looked at me and I was like, don't get up. I'm like, I don't want to get up, but we're going to go do this show. So had to make it happen. Appreciate you jumping in here, Tim. Hopefully,
excuse me while I rub out the eye boogers. All right. Let's go.
Do what you got to do. Dave in the chat says, can we all just say it now? Edgerrin Cooper's a dog, man.
Dog.
Again, we can go around the horn with it one more time. We kind of talked about at the post-game show. I cannot think of another player that we drafted where in year one we go, damn, this dude gets it. The first person that comes to mind for me is Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
That's the last time. And again, you kind of comparing apples to oranges with an edge defender and an inside linebacker.
Yeah.
But man, we kind of highlighted it going into this game, Jacob, earlier in the week. We were talking about the run stops, right? The tackle depth matters. It's not just the overall tackle numbers, but the tackle depth. And his run stop count, like if you had doubled his snap count, which would still have him like 80 less than Quay, he was like at 56, 57 run stops, which would lead the league or lead the team by far. It's just wild. So
what was crazy too is that every single play that I decided, I'm like, I'm going to key on edge. If I could find him before the snap, I would specifically just watch him, kind of the take your eye off the ball thing. And I was amazed. The way he moves, it seems effortless. I was actually talking with my buddy Tony, and he brought it up this morning. He goes, it seems like he doesn't even try. Like he doesn't even he's so fast and big and athletic that he almost looks like he's not moving that fast, but he's graceful. And it's like the only person I'm not going to say he's like this, but it's when you watched linebackers like Ray Lewis and
Mhm.
Urlacher, the greats, where their body just kind of sifted around. They never took on blocks if they didn't have to. They were pursuing, they're constantly moving, but they're not getting out of position. And then when the time is right to actually hit and strike, they don't miss the tackles.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's just crazy.
As soon as they drafted him, we did a chalk talk on him, right? And we immediately went in and looked. And Tim, do you remember? I'm sure you remember this. The thing that stood out the most, like his superpower, was start, stop, shoot, which is ball snapped, get a first step, half step into the right gap, and then it's stop, set. Where's the play going? Shoot your shot, no hesitation.
And that's what
And
we
I think
saw
it's
him
exactly
doing
what you're
all night
talking about.
last night, right?
Yeah.
All
I
night.
think it's exactly what you were talking about, Jacob. Like the way he moves around blocks, it's that start, stop, shoot is like he's a half a second. He's processed a half a second quicker than everyone else on the field. And then he's got the athleticism to make up ground as well. It's amazing. Go ahead, Tim. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, I agree totally. I was actually telling the missus last night a couple of those plays when we saw him do exactly that, and that's what we saw right away when he got here and saw the field. And you're right, guys. I mean, Edgerrin Cooper, he reminds me of already one of the all-time greats, and he's only a rookie. So the sky is the limit for this guy, for real. There's no ceiling at all.
my man got 2 horses out in the front yard.
Yeah, dude.
Everything about him, man. It's just
Frosty and Cinco.
talking about a perfect match with Green Bay. Like, you know what I mean? It's really cool, man. Michael in the chat, I really, really hope Matty is cooking up some type of plays that includes Jordan Love and Malik for the playoffs. No one would see it coming. I could see that being in the bag a bit, have them both on the field. The problem with that, though, is like, what would Jordan's role be in that play? You know, because I remember people, you know, back when the Wildcat was taking over and they would try to put the quarterback out wide. Nobody thought the quarterback was going to do anything, right? He's just going to kind of stand out there. So if you got 2 quarterbacks on the field, what's Jordan going to do in that play? You know what I mean? In terms of like a throwback or a double reverse or something, and you line a Malik Willis up out wide to get the ball in his hands on the edge for kind of like an RPR look off a sweep or something. I guess that's possible, but you never know, man. Matt, the way Matt draws stuff up, sure. Let's see here, Joseph in the chat. I'm gonna try to adjust this, Tim. I apologize covering your face up there, brother.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead. Do everybody a favor.
Joseph says, even better than the plays on the field, Cooper balls out and just wants to ride his horse and go fishing after. Simple, clean living produces results. Amen to that. Everybody need a little of that today. Get a little less screen time. Let's go to the locker room. This was the speech in the locker room with Matt LaFleur, and really cool. Belt to have Matt LaFleur right there to see who gets the game ball. And it's just a really cool setting in there. Here we go.
Way to handle your business. We go to the playoffs. All 3 phases. We set a complete game for 4 quarters. It's tough to blank somebody in this league, right? 34-0. It took all 3 phases. How about our defense for a minute, man? We got 3 sacks. Zane Anderson with the pick. How about our offense? All 3 backs scored a touchdown. And McManus, 55-yard. But I got one special game ball, all right? And this is for the leader of our organization, Mark Murphy. So Mark's been in charge for 17 seasons. We've made the playoffs 13 out of the 17 seasons. That is the most in that period of time, and he's a great leader, and I know we all respect Mark Murphy.
I tell you, I've been around the NFL a long time, and I really sense something special in this room.
Listen, I love this team. I love this energy, and we got something special here. We just got to keep building on it. All right?
Back on 3, 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Love it, man. Again, the quote, I've been around the NFL a long time, and I really sense something special in this room. is what Mark Murphy
I
said.
gotta go, guys. I'm going to 1265 to give Mark a hug right now.
So tune in to the local Green Bay news, and you'll see a man getting handcuffed here in a little bit. It'll be Tim getting escorted out going, I love you, Mark. I love you. He listen,
65%.
65%. That's what how much joy has this man brought us? From the Tubin Hill to the 65% drop to Aaron's a complicated fella. Like this guy never he just always delivers entertainment value for sure, man.
Yeah, I don't want to meet anyone that doesn't like Mark Murphy. I'm sorry. Yeah. Just go ahead and unfollow me. You know, all of that stuff. I don't even want to interact with you.
Yeah, exactly. Coach Lynn, can you guys show the Gary and Love interview after the game next, please? So here's the problem with that, Coach. I would love to show it. Anytime there's a TV network involved and they got like these little post-game things and everything, AI is like really, really, really strict on that stuff. So if we could show a 3-second clip, right? But if we show that little interview, then it'll probably trigger a copyright, which will shut the stream down, and then it'll come back up because we're allowed to use it, but the AI catches it and freaks it.
Yeah. AI is basically like this guy. You know?
I will explain to you guys if you haven't seen it. You can go find it, obviously, on Monday Night Football's Twitter page or whatever. So they're interviewing Jordan Love at the end of the game. If you guys remember, I'm pretty sure it was the Saints game last year. Was it, Tim, the Saints game last year when Gary ran up behind Love and said, "Stop playing with him. Stop playing with him"?
I think it was.
He's done it multiple games.
The Bears game. It might have been the Bears game.
No, you're right. It was in Chicago. That's right. So then basically Gary did the same thing last night. I told y'all to stop playing with us. So
yeah, but he scared the crap out of the interviewer girl. She left the screen and she came back. She goes, "You scared me."
Yeah.
I love Rashawn so much.
What he said.
That guy is like not the most vocal leader in the world, but man, when he speaks, everything stops, right? Everybody listens.
They do.
Gotta love some Rashawn Gary.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Real quick, guys, not to interrupt, but this is the best chat of the day. J. Cole says, "Hey, where the hell is Raider Young at?"
That's a great
Remember that Nostradamus that we had out here calling for Spencer Rattler? I believe
this
it was
guy right here. Is that
3 tuds.
That's terrible.
All right, so let's dissect real quick Raider Young's prediction here. Spencer Rattler 3 touchdowns did not happen. Saints defense with 5 sacks did not happen. Matter of fact, they didn't get 1 sack. Spencer Rattler didn't get 1 touchdown. So if anybody sees Raider Young, please let us know. If we don't have any word from him by sundown, we'll put him on the back of a milk carton and send that out. I'm actually worried about Raider Young. Is he okay? That's a
Heard it from a fan right here.
I don't know. We'll keep a look out there, boys, on the trail for old Raider Young. Yeah, I was concerned about his well-being too. And I tried to set it up too. I tried to say, listen, man, be man enough, come back in here if you're going to talk crap. We'll be here. You guys beat us. We'll be sitting right here talking about it, and we'll give you your props. But
just Raider Young's over there like,
you hurt me, Brett.
I think he's worried that Matt LaFleur might be creeping around with that belt. Is what I think. Because it was belt to ass last night, no doubt about it.
I know I was late. I was in La La Land this morning, but did we inform Jacob of the news regarding our defense?
Yeah, Jacob. So we did a little deep dive last night, and the numbers have been updated on the team standings, the team rankings.
Yeah.
Going into last night, again, if you guys are wondering, the bet is if the Packers have a top 7 scoring defense, I'll get an Emilio tattoo on my left butt cheek. All right. So going into last night, the Packers were 8th in scoring defense.
Of course.
After last night, they currently sit in the 6th spot.
Oh, for
oh boy.
So
Jacob, only a couple games left, Jacob.
Jacob's sitting here going, you know what, boys? Why don't we just sit our starters? We're in the playoffs. Let's just sit everybody out.
Yeah, man. Why get greedy? Oh, and
Playoffs.
I have 2 tattoo artists in my direct family. I have like 3 that are very good friends. They're gonna get wind of this, and my butt cheek doesn't stand a chance, guys. Can I at least?
We're gonna give in for.
What we can do is we can come up with 3 cool designs, right? That'll be, it'll be cool. Listen, and then we'll let the fans vote.
Let the fans vote. Okay. Yeah. Can one be a race car bed, please? At least.
Yeah. See, that's what we talked about. Like, you said maybe a tramp stamp instead of the butt cheek, right? Well, what if we did this? What if we had it a little both, like have Emilio creeping past your belt line, you know what I mean? The sombrero on, and then underneath it, he'll be standing in his race car bed. It'd be beautiful, man. Good luck explaining that in the bedrooms. All I got to say, Jacob. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry. It ain't important.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Nick McSwain says should be Emilio with the sombrero. Absolutely with the sombrero, no doubt, man. All right, let's talk a little football as the viewer count continues to plummet here. We're talking about tattoos on butt cheeks. So that's what you do here. You don't get this from any other show. As a matter of fact, that's how we'll end hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour two. We appreciate y'all.